And what is this perspective? Is what I just said. Instead of just that researchers will do research on people, no? That instead of that there is real dialogue between the researchers and the knowledge that comes from our research with the different stakeholders, with the end users and stakeholders. I just give you an example of this approach. In one of the conferences that came from one of our researches, there was this researcher in one of the research centers in the school of High School of Social Sciences in Paris that was studying mixed identities, no identities that came from immigration. And he said that as a result of Arab migration in France, there emerged mixed identities, persons who are 50% French and 50% Algerian. Then there was in the audience, there were people from different associations, from immigrant associations, Roma associations, and there is this Romani woman that she stands up and says, look, I'm not 50% French and 50% Roma. I am 100% French because I have the same rights and duties as other French persons, and I am also 100% Roma. So this researcher that is very famous in the field, instead of saying, no, you are wrong because you are not a researcher like myself, he said, okay, I think I have to rethink my concept of mixed identity. So this is what we mean of bringing our research, the knowledge that we have from the scientific community, to a real dialogue. So this is the approach we had, and we bring this dialogue from the very field work of research to the final results in the final conferences. The included project, we were focusing, no? And I said we were because we just finished the research project, no? It was from 2006 to just 2011. The goal was this achieving social cohesion in Europe. And what we did is we focused on those schools that sometimes we can call them ghetto schools. No? They are in very poor neighborhoods or they have in low socioeconomic areas. So what we did in the many things that we did across the research is to select schools, no, across Europe that were located in poor areas, low socioeconomic areas, and that they had ethnic diversity. Immigrant children or Roma children, depending on the reality of each country, of course. And these were requisites, but at the same time that those children in these schools, in these areas, they were achieving. No, that was a goal. So instead of saying, oh, because there are a lot of immigrants in this school, they will be low achievers, and justify their low achievement because of their neighborhood, we were looking at those schools with those characteristics that were successful. And then to see what is that they were doing that was so successful. This is one example. No? In this school, in 5 years, they had improved the basic skills in the tests that they have in the country, in basic schools in reading, from 17% of children achieving to 85%. But at the same time, this school was increasing the immigrant population from 12 to 46%. So at the same time that there were more immigrant children in the classrooms, they were achieving at a greater level. So what is that they are doing in this school? This was our interest. No? What is so successful there? What we identified is that they were applying actions that what we call the successful educational actions during this period of years. I will provide an example of one of the schools that they were having this improvement, and is kind of an extreme example. No? This school was located in one neighborhood in the south of Spain that is probably the poorest neighborhood in Spain. It's a neighborhood that there is, of course, high rates of school dropout and early school leaving. There's poverty, crime, and unemployment, and even not even the police dares to go into the neighborhood. So in this case, So this, what happened is that there was one school and the teachers were asking police for protection in order to go to the school to teach. So this was a really critical situation in this neighborhood. At that moment in this, what happened is that the educational administration of the area, they got in contact with the Included project and said, look, we either close this school, or we can do something different. What do you advise to us? So we said, you can start implementing the successful actions that are already coming from the research. So they implemented successful actions that we were identifying in those schools across Europe, that they were overcoming exclusion, that the children were achieving in reading, mathematics, in English language, or they were achieving. So, and these kind of actions are, I'm going to list them. I will not go into them, because we don't have time for that. For instance, interactive groups. Instead of segregating children who are different, who are low achievers, who are immigrants, who are Roma, what they did is to place them in heterogeneous groups inside the classroom and put more resources. So these are educational professionals or volunteers into the classroom. So in one classroom there would be 4 adults working with the children. So they were implementing that, they implemented that, they did family education programs that had been proved to be successful. For instance, literary gatherings where family members, they read classic literature and discuss classic literature, and they bring that at home and talk about classics at home with their children. Or they implemented also homework clubs or different kinds of extending the learning time in the school, in which children who have difficulties, instead of taking them outside of the classrooms, they have more time in which they can work with other professionals and help them to do homework when their parents cannot help them. Or dialogic reading, in which children are helped to read outside the regular hours of school in tutored libraries. So all those kind of actions that I'm just listing here, they were implemented in this school that was in such dramatic situation. What was the result? There was an amazing reduction of absenteeism, so children started to go back to school. In a few years, in just a few years, the achievement in mathematics in reading improved, and you see a graph there of the difference, and also then they got the recognition from the government and the community as an example of a school. So there was a dramatic change when they implemented successful actions, that we had evidences that work. So what happened in that neighborhood is that there was a lot of money invested. I'm not saying that there was not investment. It was a priority zone, a poor area. There was a lot of investment from the local administration in that area. But most of the investment was based on assumptions, was not based on evidences that came from research. And sometimes these assumptions were implemented from a top-down model in which the community had no say on how to implement that, or on how to recreate those actions in the reality they had. What happened is that after the success in the school, because there was an amazing change, improvement of in this school, that the people from the neighborhood started to ask to extend the Included project to other areas of the society, other areas of the community. So if this had been so successful in schooling, so why don't we do the same in employment, health, housing, participations, which are the many other problems that they had in the neighborhood.